Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, March 6th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call this week on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. You might want to have a writing pad available. Cease trying to work everything out with your mind because it will get you nowhere. Live instead by intuition and inspiration. Let your whole life become a revelation. Eileen Cady. We know that our minds are naturally creative and that it is always generating thoughts in every moment of our lives. Whether these ideas are new, revolutionary, self-realized, enlightening million-dollar ideas, or mundane complaints about the neighbor next door, all depends on whether the gateway to your ultimate creative capacity is open or closed. Most people believe there are only a few gifted creative individuals born in the world, while the rest of us are not so lucky to be creatively endowed. In reality, the truth is more radical than this. We are all deeply creative beings, all of us, who are constantly inventing every detail of our lives in each breathing moment. Every thought you're thinking right now is creating something. The real question is, are these thoughts in alignment with what your heart truly wants to manifest? Or are you still selling yourself short and settling for what you don't want? Either way, we are still creating our reality, inventing the dream that we are living in every single instant of our lives. One of the most effective things that we can do to instantly skyrocket our ultimate creative capacity is to allow ourselves to do absolutely nothing. I know that sounds strange to most. That's right. Take a vacation from talking, doing, achieving, exploring, examining, discovering, learning, growing, and just practice being. Relax into your body, experience being alive, present to this simple, soft presence that you are, and be still. How would it feel if we took the time to stare at the clouds floating by for an entire afternoon? Set aside a substantial amount of time to do absolutely nothing on your agenda. This instantly creates a vacuum-like energy, and this succulent taste of emptiness will cause massive amounts of new creative juices to start bursting from inside. Nature abhors a vacuum, and if we can truly do nothing, be nothing, think about nothing, feel nothingness at the core of our being, we will be blown away by the creativity that naturally arises. The only reason we may have felt blocked in our creative exploration of this life is because we haven't been able to let go of our addictions, distractions, and drop the desiring mind. Make it a priority to be still and stop working on anything. You'll see a creative miracle explode from inside. It may take you 10 minutes or 10 hours. Yet once you truly allow your mind the time to relax, do absolutely nothing, and be nothing, you'll find that life is purely orgasmic. The moment we make time for nothingness in our lives and allow ourselves to feel into the essence of what absolute 100% nothingness feels like, our entire life will blossom. It's like hitting the reboot button on your computer. Your body-mind system resets itself. Your eyes become clear again, and you discover a brand new experience of this life. All your so-called problems become dwarfed in the presence of your creative genius-ness. As you find there only exists the illusion of problem. As you become so outrageously creative, you're able to think of 108 different new solutions to each one of these old, worn-out, so-called problems. Now, this may be one of the greatest benefits from exploring nothing and letting it reboot your creativity muscles. When you realize how easy it is to completely stop having problems in your life. Your community will hear the greatest belly laugh in the sky. You will be reborn as the divine flow of cosmic creative joy that you truly are. So it's an open invitation to make the decision right now that every day this week you are going to choose to skyrocket your creative capacity to the next level. This means that we are willing to move into and through our dull, ordinary, boring thinking patterns and choose to think thoughts that increase our joy vibration. It means we are committing to taking better care of ourselves, loving who we are, becoming more gentle with ourselves, and only doing the actions that give us tons of happiness and long-term energy. And sure, we may have to find a new job that we love or spend more time with those people we really love. But how much time do you have here on this planet, Earth, Gaia, Arya? By choosing to live at this higher frequency, we may no longer be able to hang out amongst those people who have a tendency to bring our energies down. And we know those people who judge others, condemn others, discredit others, think they're holier than everyone, and yet deep down feel like they are hiding in some perpetual complaint factory. Now, these people won't be able to handle our cosmic creative energy. They just won't. It's best to move forward with our lives and just let them know we're busy if they want to make a complaint date with you. If they are a good friend of yours and want to continue connecting with you, they will wake up and catch up with your vibration. But do not lower your divinely happy creative vibe. Don't ever lower it. Don't let them lower it. Right? Do not lower your divinely happy creative vibe to be in rapport with anyone. Right? How many times have we lowered that energy to be on the same level of certain people? We are not doing a service to others or ourselves by lowering our frequencies, choosing to be less happy, less joyful, less creative, and alive. And I think we all have come across those people. This isn't a judgment, it's just experience. These people won't be able to handle our cosmic creative energy. It is best to move forward with our lives and just let them know that we are busy if they want to make a complaint date with us. If they are a good friend and want to continue connecting with you, they will wake up and catch up with your vibration. But do not lower your divinely happy creative vibe to be in rapport with anyone. you're not doing a service to others or yourself by lowering your frequency and choosing to be less happy, less joyful, less creative, and alive. We are still that wildly creative child who had the most outrageous imagination. We used to be joyfully entertained by the fantasies in our minds for 24 hours a day. That capacity to enjoy imagination is still there. The child is still inside of us right now, waiting for our permission to come out and play. Free your child up right now. Give him or her full permission to be free all week long. Let her or him dance to the music, laugh at life, be silly, play fantasy, right? Make up dumb jokes and sing songs. In a very short time, we will discover something quite magical. That sacred stream of creativity has become unblocked and is now pouring over us like a waterfall of yummy, 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 yummy liquid loving light. Every moment of our lives is an opportunity to ascend to a higher dimension of consciousness. Every moment of our lives is an opportunity to ascend to a higher dimension of consciousness. What this means in the practical sense is only doing things, being with people, and living a life that makes your heart sing. If you cannot find what it is that makes your heart sing, then find what makes it cry or become angry. Use everything, the dark and the light experiences, to push you deeper into your core, the God that you are. They are the fuel that will spark the light to get your creative engines really roaring. Naturally, we are already creative beings. We may have just fogged the lamp up with all sorts of more important ideas. To get out of this fog, just look around you. Notice you are surrounded by creativity. Everywhere you go, look, smell, touch, listen, and feel life. It is all around you. This world is a divine creation. All of nature and the man-made things came from divine creativity. When we truly look into this life, we will see how obvious it is that we are the source of creative energy itself. It's always good to know that there is no such thing as stepping into the same river twice. Life is constantly providing us with completely brand new experiences in each moment. Our job is to not try to go back to the good experiences we cherished or resist the negative experiences that haunt us. Our job is to be in this creative, juicy moment that is here now, in the now. It's always good to know that there is no such thing as stepping into the same river twice. Life is constantly providing us with completely brand new experiences in each moment. Our job is to not try to go back to the good experiences we cherished. To not do this, right? Or resist the negative experiences that haunt us. Our job is to be in this creative, juicy moment that is here now. When we let go of the banks of the river and we go with the flow of this life, allowing the current to take us downstream, we will relax, heal, merge with the ocean. We will only feel tremendous joy, bliss, and ecstasy inside. This is a natural occurrence when we are flowing along with the ocean of momentary existence. We don't have to try very hard to get there, for the water and the river flow is already an intimately connected part of the ocean. We simply have to trust the flow, choose to trust the flow, and we will naturally go with it. This is if you want, you understand that all of these are intricately connected. They're different stages of realization and understanding of oneself. We go into so many different directions. None of us are exempt from it. We're pulled here, we're pulled there. We're worried and stressed a lot about how other people think, feel about us. We're caught in an incessant race to really get nowhere. Sometimes it's mind-boggling when you do sit back and you just step back from the mind and the ego and you watch all this. And it doesn't make any sense. None of it does. And then people will say, why would you do nothing and just be? You've got all these responsibilities, you've got all this stuff that you got to take care of. Because you need to leave the mind alone. You got to leave the mind alone so the mind can be at peace. This is a way to master the mind and eventually not have the mind. We're not talking about brain, the organic brain matter. We're talking about the illusion of mind. This is what, the mind creates. The mind is an illusion with these bodies that created the ego to assist it. And it's pretty challenging for us. Most of us have a very difficult time being in the now, even for a minute. Really, seriously. We have, because we are so distracted, and we've created this comfort zone for ourselves, and we're in the habit of it. And then we become controlled. We're controlled by the ego mind while we're in these bodies. Once you learn that the ego mind is an illusion created for us to rediscover our true power as gods. But you can't do it until you step out of it. And you just, for several hours, you do nothing. And that freaks people out because they're incessantly, pinned to this rat race. They're constantly having to do things, get things done, to organize this, do that, and do this. But when you do nothing and you just be, and you listen to the heart mind, that's all you do. The mind then lets go. It starts relaxing. Because you're not focused on anything. You're only focused on the now, which is the very moment of each breath that you take. And that's where the ego mind does not exist. And this is how you can leave the ego mind alone and watch it. And by being in the now, and just doing nothing, being, and actually you are doing something, you're going within into discovering more and more of who and what you really are. that you begin to understand more and more that you are not that body. And you will begin to understand that you came here to enjoy life, not fight life. And this is what sparks us upon these discoveries, which people are making every day on this planet, that you, inside that body, are the God. There's no arguing about it. You can sit and try and argue with the ego mind, and that will be basically totally useless. But that's what we're here doing. On this planet, we are finding out for ourselves what we are and who we are in these bodies. This is what this is all about. It's to discover, or if you will, rediscover your power, which is omnipotent. And then, of course, ego mind comes in and says, you're just a tiny thing. Look at that universe. How can you be so powerful? Again, we go into the ego mind mastering, and make us believe that small is weak, right? There are energies housed in certain elements that are about the size of a dime that you would have to use a crane, a heavy-duty industrial crane, to lift it from the surface. Interesting. It is so dense, but it's no bigger than a dime. How we've been taught to perceive through the ego mind, we've been taught to believe that there are limitations in this life. We are taught to believe that instead of understanding that anything is possible, we are taught to believe only certain things are possible. Instead of having no limitations, we are taught to have limitations. And this is a formidable challenge for us because we weren't aware of it. Say, had we been aware of it, we would not take that direction. But being unaware of it, that's what we do. We take that direction of being programmed, not being self-programmed. What we're doing now is self-programming. We're removing a lot of the old programming that we received when we entered these baby bodies, and as the baby bodies grew, we all know that we were our personality, our character, how we are in this life was started by other people's thoughts. Relatives, mom and dad, grandparents, friends, neighbors, strangers. But then when we know this, there are some things we would hold. We would hold in the old programming that were beneficial for us, that helped us, right? But the majority of it would be vaporized. And we would begin self-programming. These meditations, one of many things they're doing in our four is self-realization, self-programming by discovering and wanting to discover, not being forced to discover, but wanting to discover who and what we are. And see, the interesting thing is through the programming of other people's thoughts forever, we believe that we are the body. And this is why we worry, stress, and fear so much about the body. But isn't it ironic that the majority of us don't tend our bodies, right? We don't tend our bodies. We don't heal our bodies. even though we have that power within us to do so. And what we believe, and isn't it funny? It's interesting that you put something out there. You put something out there. You put it out to the universe. It's not like, it's a matter of life and death, this. But you begin to think, right? And you compile something that you want. And you just say, okay, universe, it's yours. Go for it. And it manifests. Sometimes almost instantaneously. It doesn't register with a lot of us. Okay? You might have been thinking about, just wouldn't it be nice if a place were to show up now that I could go in and find this item? So you take a different route. And you just notice this store, and you've never seen the store before because you've never taken that route before. And so you pull in, you just get this feeling, and you pull in, and you get in the store. And you go, holy cow, they have what I was thinking about. And you get it. So we don't, see, because we don't do nothing, where we just breathe and focus on the now, we don't identify those things. They just come and go. If you've ever watched people that come into some experience that's phenomenal for them, okay? And then the interviewer says, did you ever believe that when you started this, you would have ended up here? And they say, not at all. Had no idea. I'm super grateful that I'm experiencing this moment right now. You see how this life was designed for us? We've actually designed it, the gods that we are. And we design it how? We design it with a little bit of salt and pepper, some spices and seasonings, some sweet things here and there. It's like a recipe, constantly evolving and improving. And we do this because we enjoy our lives. We don't do it to, totally destroy us, or we don't do it because we want to suffer a lot, really. We don't do it because we want to be unhappy and disappointed. We don't do that. We do it because we enjoy the life. We appreciate the fact that we have these bodies to enjoy. And so we do throw in. Doesn't mean we know it consciously, or subconsciously or unconsciously. We throw in those little twists and turns, those little things that you say to yourself, why in the heck where did that come from? And then you stop yourself and you go, I must have manifested it, but I wasn't consciously aware at the time that I was manifesting. It changes everything. It shifts it. With that understanding and perspective, you're not blaming yourself. You're gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times, but you're beginning to understand that you, in that body, are the source. You are the source of everything. All creation around you, you're the source. The creation is the God that you are. And you look around all over the place and you see these beautiful scenes and everything. And you say to yourself, that's the God that I am. Not that's beautiful. You might say, look at that horizon. That's the God that I am. It's getting into the habit of practicing this with yourself. Now, other people, like always, like we would do before you became aware, is that you'd say, oh, that's beautiful. Look at that sunset. And you felt good by witnessing the sunset. And then you got to the point where you said, look at that sunset. That's the God that I am. And we don't, because we're in a hurry in this life, And most people don't know they're in a hurry because they're so used to being in a hurry, they just think it's normal. Their speed is normal. When someone's rushing you, okay, what do you usually do? Okay, if you're with someone else, you've got a spouse or you have a friend, and they're rushing you because you've got to get somewhere, right? And I think we've all been there at least once, if not several times. What do? You get this uneasy feeling, and then you start rushing. You start hurrying. And how many times have you done that, and you're on your way to a destination, and you say to yourself, oh, jeez, I forgot this or I forgot that. I've got to go back and get it because of the rushing. Instead of saying to yourself, everything's going to be fine. I'm not going to get strung up. I get emotionally active and frustrated to hurry myself to get out the door. I'm just going to slow down and take my time, period. You then begin to understand, what is that? That's you mastering you. That's what that is, making those decisions. And the more you practice that, the more you will relax, the more the body will relax. But see, that's a stress and attention factor that this civilization has been in for a very, very, very long time. And it's so the whole thing is that you get to the point where you don't even know or feel that you're stressed, anxious, in a hurry. You don't even know it because you're so used to being in that frequency and emitting that frequency. This civilization on this planet, this very now moment, they begin, if they really truly understood that, begin to understand who and what they are in those bodies, and then start one step at a time connecting the dots or snapping the puzzle pieces into place. And then slowly but surely they start to understand, why am I hurrying in this life? And it dawns on you that most of your life you've been hurrying in some way. Right? Doesn't necessarily have to be going someplace, right? Just feel where you just feel hurried. And you've got all these things that the mind is banging you with. The ego mind is sitting there coming up with, oh, you got to do this, you got to do this, oh, you got to go into this, oh, you got to do that. But you say, now, when I slow down, I still get things done, but I'm much more relaxed and stressless and happier. And see, a lot of us are under this ego mind control thing where you didn't get something done and you feel bad about it. You ever done that? You ever, and something that you knew you were going to get done, but you just couldn't fit it in to that day, and you felt guilty by not being able to get that done, right? And then what happens with the guilt and then the stress? And you get to the point where you say, why? I don't really care to do this anymore. And by going in the now, the mind relaxes. And we talk a lot about the now because it's so crucial for us to expand and evolve. You may be focused on the now with your breath, right? And the ego mind keeps trying to pull you out of there, distract you with other thoughts start coming in. And then you start wandering off into those thoughts. But you catch yourself and say, hey, it's not a big deal. I focus on my breath. I'm back in the now. And you can be in the now all day long, right? All night long. by focusing on the breath. And it doesn't mean I can't talk to you, I'm focusing on my breath. It just means that you listen to the breath. It's not like, let's put it this way. A lot of times you aren't going to hear the breath in the way you believe you're going to hear it, think you're going to hear it. It's the movement of the body. That's the breath. And where's it coming from? Where's that? Where's that energy and power coming from? You, the God, in that body. And what directs your body, okay, to consume, food, energy, so that the body can sustain itself? What directs that? You, the God in that body. And you might look at something and you'll say, well, I've had this before and it really tastes good. But it's not going to really do anything for my body. But, because I have taste buds, it's going to taste good. It's going to give me receptors where I'm in the brain and where I'm going to feel good by eating it. But I do know it's not good for my body. But on occasion we do that, and that's fine. But overindulging, that's another story. And what's the overindulging? Where does that come from? Ego mind. Okay? Ego mind pulls you into that. And we have this, we have the ability, it's already built in to redirect the so-called traffic of life. You ever been on a country road where there's no cars, there's no sirens, there's no banging and chopping and noises of trucks and everything? It's just quiet. Some people can't stand that because they've been so conditioned to be in city life. A small city or town, big metropolitan area. But the noise, it conditions them to want the noise. And when they go someplace where there's no noise, they have a hard time sleeping because they've been so conditioned. And guess what? It's outside the comfort zone. Total silence. Where you really don't, you're just focused on the breath and doing nothing. Being. Just being. Some people will say, well, I'm in meditation, which means you're being, and you're focused on the now, moment to moment. And you're in a quiet place or space. And you get a joy with this practice, which gives you the opportunity to move more and more into your core, into the God. You take the soul and you could go into the center of the soul. That's where the God is. And then we know that this life is constantly providing us with completely brand new experiences in every moment. Every moment. New experiences, completely brand new experiences in each moment to moment. And then we begin to realize is that we are not interested in going back to the good experiences that we've cherished, and we are not interested to resist the negative experiences that haunt us, because we let it go. And it is it is like a job in a way, but much different than the job you'd look in labor, is to be in this creative moment that is here and now at all times. Practice to the point where you're doing it all the time. Picture yourself in a boat and you feel secure, right? Because the banks of the river, you can see. You can see the banks of the river. Now, the people that don't go with the flow of life, they do not care to, they don't care to see the banks disappear. They don't like that. They want to make sure they're close enough and they can see the banks. Now, then there are those of us that we go with the flow of this life and just allow the current to take us downstream. And that's when we relax, heal, and merge with the ocean. See, because the river takes you out to the ocean eventually. And you lose sight of the shores and the banks. And people go, they're uncomfortable with that, right? Because they have to be in control of everything. And so ego mind steps in a lot. And pulls people out of the now and out of the flow. And jump into the rat race. You can visualize yourself easily through the heart mind, wherever you're walking real fast, or kind of speed walking, whatever, right? Because there's so many people packed in there, and everybody is going in one direction, and they're not looking around them or behind them or in front of them or side to side. They're just in a hurry, mad rush. And it's so packed that you really can't spring or jump. You're just packed in, and you can only move so fast. But you're frustrated because you want to move faster, but you can't move faster because there's so many people packed in that race, that rat race. And as I said before, every now and then, one of us just decides, I'm out of here. I'm not interested in this. And so, and then everybody goes around you, and then you peel off. And then you've made the decision to just watch the rat race. Everybody in a hurry to get nowhere. And the reason they're going nowhere is because they believe, through the ego mind, which is never satisfied, remember, that the ego mind is telling them, you got to get there in this life. We've got to get there. See, and the ego mind is so insecure, and it always wants more. It always is going to want more. It is never going to be satisfied. So, the rat race, constantly moving forward, thinking that you're going to get to a certain place, and you'll have made it, right? All along, ignoring the God within you. Big difference. And so when you get there, it's rewarding to in the beginning, because I made it. Whatever that made it is for each of us, right? So I made it. And then after a bit, it isn't that big of a deal. There's got to be more. More money, more power, more control. I thought this was going to be it. Obviously, it's not. And that's where people just continually feel empty most of the time. So we create every step in this life we take. Yes, there's surprises because, like I say, we manifest those surprises subconsciously or even unconsciously. But we create it all. And we don't even know it. How's that for mind-boggling? Majority of people on this planet do not know that they create it. They believe that it is outside themselves, some force that is doing this, creating their lives, creating everything and in their lives. When all along, when they step back and then they watch everything, and they say, I've created all of this. And I continue to do so. I join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out through the mouth. Remain still. Once we understand that all that we need, we can have. This universe is a very magical place. It is designed to provide everything we need so that our bodies can relax into the divinity within us. And if you notice, all of our basic needs are already met. We have air to breathe, we've got water to drink, food to eat, and a place to sleep and rest. We even have people who we could open our heart and arms up to embrace for a long, cozy, warm, healing hug. Everything we need, we already have. So just get your hungry ego to detach from its list of desires. Just don't ever say no to your favorite birthday cake. Yum. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and the night and the following morning. We'll return here Tuesday, March 7th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Practice being grateful all the time. I am grateful for this time.